Hi, these comments are for HF. I am Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. So you completed a TOEFL integrated speaking task or practice test number 4, listening, speaking, academic. Let's listen to the lecture. Let's take a look at the question, and I'm going to listen to and evaluate your response.
Listen to part of a lecture in an environmental science class.
Okay, so what are some of the most effective public policies when it comes to fighting environmental problems? There are a lot of different approaches, but, and this is in my opinion, too often we underestimate how much can be accomplished just by appealing to people's sense of moral duty, to their civic duty. In other words, getting people to voluntarily stop polluting because, well, just because it's the right thing to do. These programs that try to get people to voluntarily stop doing things that hurt the environment are called moral suasion. Now, obviously, this type of approach won't be effective for all problems, but it will solve some. For some environmental concerns, moral suasion has been very effective. The classic case is, Smokey the Bear. Now, don't laugh. When the Forest Service first came out with the Smokey the Bear campaign, it may have seemed a little childish. You remember the character, the bear, dressed up like a forest ranger, saying things like, "Please don't hurt my animal friends," or "Please don't start forest fires." Well, it worked. It worked because it made people more sensitive to these problems. This Smokey the Bear campaign, this kind of campaign in general, raises people's awareness of the problem and appeals to their sense of moral duty, to do the right thing. Another good example of this is recycling. In the early days of recycling, local communities promoted these voluntary efforts. They made people aware of the need to reduce the amount of garbage by recycling. They provided neighborhoods with containers to put their glass and newspapers in instead of throwing them away. Some people started doing it, and others followed. Maybe people thought, "I have this recycling container, my neighbor's doing it, I should do it too." Nowadays, of course, everyone recycles. The point is, in order to get people to really do it, to get high rates of compliance, the program heavily relied on moral suasion.
Okay, so the example about the Smokey the Bear kind of illustrates the idea that was defined previously, right? That's kind of the relationship. Okay, so let's look at the question. What is a policy of moral suasion? Use the Smokey the Bear and the recycling campaigns to explain how it works. So you have the concept in the beginning, you have two examples that illustrate that idea after that. Okay, let's listen to your response now.
The lecture is about moral suasion. Moral suasion is appealing people's moralities and value in order of having them following the orders. The professor elaborates on this by bringing up two main examples. The first one is the famous...
Much better on your pacing this time. This is much smoother, less interruptive. So you did much better in terms of your pausing and things. Thumbs up, buddy.
Example of Smokey the Bear.
Okay.
When Smokey the Bear started several years ago, it looked childish. However, after adding some appealing sentences,
the speaker explains that it was childish.
Sentences like, "Please do not hurt environment and kill animals. Please do not start a fire," people surprisingly started to comply. The second main example is recycling. Recycling,
you might say, with such simple slogans as blah, 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 surprisingly, according to the speaker, people started to comply.
It started a few years ago in order to decrease quantities of trash. People at the beginning didn't comply, only few of them. However, this minority of people attracted other people to comply. And right now, everybody in the society is doing recycling.
Okay, so I think on this one, I'm going to put you. Let me take a look at the rubrics here. Give me a second. I think you're between 3 and 3.5. I'm going to say maybe 22 to 24 points on this one. Okay, so let's go back and listen to it one more time. Let me see if there's any specific problems I can uncover that might help
The
you.
lecture is about moral suasion. Moral suasion is appealing people's moralities and value
I would just say moral suasion appeals to, or the concept appeals to peoples. Just use the base verb there.
in order of having them following the orders.
No, in order to have them comply with the mandate, I might say. I would say it that way. The way you said it wasn't as you could have said it better than that.
The professor elaborates on this by bringing up two main examples. The first one is the famous and classic example of Smokey the Bear.
Okay.
When Smokey the Bear started several years ago, it looked childish. However, after
No, when Smokey the Bear started years ago, according to the speaker, the slogans used in the advertising campaigns were childish. That's how I would say that.
adding some appealing sentences like please do not hurt environment and kill animals, please do not start a fire, people
Yeah, I don't think you even have to say those. You can just say that these simple, silly slogans, according to the speaker, were surprisingly effective without even stating the slogans themselves, but just say that they were simple slogans to get people to comply. And surprisingly, according to the speaker, it worked.
it looked childish. However, after adding some appealing sentences like please do not hurt environment and kill animals, please do not start a fire, people surprisingly started to comply.
Okay.
The second main example is recycling. Recycling is
The second main example, where the speaker presents a second example to further illustrate the idea of moral suasion. Right? So you want to acknowledge, you want to make sure we know that the speaker or the speakers are saying this information and it's not you. It makes it sound more like a summary.
started a few years ago in order to decrease quantities of trash. People at the beginning didn't comply, only few of them. However, this minority
You might want to say, instead of people did not comply, just say only a few people complied with this mandate initially.
of people attracted other people to comply. And right now, everybody in the society is doing recycling. The lecture is about
No, everybody in society is doing recycling. Not everybody in society is redoing recycling. Be careful of your pacing. You almost got back into that trap that you did on the last two practice tests, where you had too many of those short pauses after maybe one or two words with a pause, another one or two words with a pause. Don't go down that road. Believe me, stay away from that. You can't say hi. I am Michael. I am a TOEFL teacher. You speak like that, people aren't going to pay attention to anything you're saying. They're going to start counting the words you're saying instead of what you're talking about. They're going to be so distracted. So on this one, I'm going to put you at, I think, 22 to 24 points. I think you had some problems with your language use, as I illustrated. You had some minor delivery issues and maybe even topic development problems. Right? Go over to the lesson in the speaking part of my course, the 7th step. Go to that first independent speaking strategies lesson, so you get a general idea how you can organize these responses. All right, thank you.